Hello, my name is Rhonda, and this video is being made for you and all of y'all out there on YouTube. It's a little bit different. We're going behind the scenes today for the Baby and Mango Show. The Baby and Mango Show is a YouTube channel that we have about our birds. Of course, they are the stars of the channel, and today is going to be part one of a two-part series, and I'm going to tell you a little bit about Baby. Her gotcha day, and just a little bit more about her personality, and some things that we've learned with having Budgies. So Baby's full name is Baby Cakes. She was a birthday present to me this year from a couple of people that I work with, and I won't mention any names. Kaylin and Miranda. They got this bird, got a cage, got all the fixings, got food, and brought this to work. And I got Baby for my birthday this year. Her actual gotcha day was June 28th, 2024. And when they brought her into work, of course, it was a total shock and a surprise to me. Any experience that I've had in the past with birds, my husband and I love outside birds. We're bird nerds. We don't care. We love our backyard birds. We love our songbirds. We've got so many pictures of birds. We go walking to look for birds. We just love birds. Had a cockatiel growing up named Pretty Girl, and don't remember a whole lot about it. Wasn't too interested in the bird at that time. And then one of my sons growing up had another cockatiel, and her name was Sassy. So other than that, have not had any other birds. But I feel obliged that if somebody gets you a birthday present and it is something that you truly love and it's a hobby, you got to abide by that and you got to take it home. So I did. I'm so glad I did, and we have loved her so much ever since then. Saying that, the real name for him is Budgies. I hope I'm saying that right, Budgies. Or their nickname is Budgie, little Budgies. They're native to Australia, and actually the meaning of the name is good food. So Jeff and I have some good laughs about that with the birds when they're acting up, that they could be good food. But it's just an inside joke between us. But when we first got Baby, it was kind of funny because we didn't know what the sex of the bird was. We didn't know that there's things that you could look at on the cere that could tell you. I put pictures of her on some of the birding groups on Facebook, and my husband's real big into getting information off of Reddit and things like that. We've done a lot more research on the little birds. And a lot of them said it was definitely a little girl. Then we did have some people that said, depending on the lighting that we had her in, take another picture, give it a little bit more time. Pretty sure it's a girl, but not 100% sure. So we gave it some more time, and then of course, giving it time, then you could see her little cere was truly more of a white color, and she was a little girl. When I first brought her home, because we didn't know, I named her Rico Suave. There's probably a good reason why she didn't respond to that name. And I think I called her Rico for about 2 or 3 days, and then that name just didn't fit. I'm just like, she just doesn't look like a Rico. And then I think there might have been another name thrown in there in between that. But then we landed on Baby Cakes. Sweet Cheeks Baby Cakes is what we call her. So got her June 28th. Never had a budgie before, so this is our first experience with budgies. One thing we did when we got her, and I remember this from having my son's bird, Sassy, is we taught Baby how to step up in the cage. We watched videos and we taught her how to step up on our finger. That's going to come into play later in the story, and we're so glad that we did teach her how to step up on our finger. Multiple attempts, multiple tries, but we did teach her how to step up, which she still steps up to this day. She's real good about stepping up, different parts of our body, our shoulders, flies to our fingers. So we're glad that we taught her how to step up. Now, she was purchased from a pet store, and so her primary flight feathers were cut. Our experience with that, with baby, has not been a good one. In reading and doing research, I do understand, I think, why they cut the feathers, from what I read, for the bird's safety and flying into things, getting away. They could hurt themselves. Is kind of what I've read about why they do it. Mango, on the other hand, he had more of his feathers where he could fly. Baby had none of her primary feathers. From my understanding of looking at the wing of the bird and their anatomy, they were totally cut. So Baby could go forward, propel herself forward, and then she would just drop down and drop to the floor. And that's where the problems came from. So our experience with having a bird with clipped feathers, Baby had no confidence to do anything. She was very skittish of everything and very anxious, an anxious bird. Seeing that birds are meant to fly, and so if she tried to fly, if she fell off the cage, if she jumped or made a leap and fell to the bottom of the cage or fell to the carpeted floor, it would scare her to death. And the only thing that she would do, you would just see her looking up at that safe spot, at that safe zone. That cage in the corner of our living room is where they stay. Now they have free reign of the house, but that's their safe spot. They go back to that cage every night. But when she was down low, all she wanted to do was get up. The only thing she could do was flap her wings, go up and down, up and down, up and down. Would wear herself out. She would be breathing so hard, and we knew it was stressing her out, so it bothered Jeff and I. So teaching her how to step up was wonderful, because we would run to her aid, get her to step up, and then we'd put her on her cage. That worked wonderful. But then with as many times as she would go to the ground, him or I would have to go get up and get her up to the cage, until we finally figured out one day. I don't know why we didn't think about this sooner. Like I said, new bird parents, or as they would call us, our humans. We got Baby a walking stick, and the walking stick worked out really good. Jeff's got some pictures of her in the walking stick, and we literally put the walking stick from the floor to the table. Therefore, when she flew and she went down, she'd scuttle over to that walking stick, walk up that walking stick, and get on the cage. That's when we started to see her becoming a little bit more confident, because she could get back to her safe zone and she didn't have to wait on somebody to take her there. And we noticed that helped a lot with her anxiety. Personality of Baby. Baby is very adventurous. She is our little play bug. She is moody. She can be very moody, and she can be a bully to Mango at times. Not all the time. Jeff calls her a sweet tart. Most of the time she's sweet, but she can be tart when she wants to be. But she loves to play with our hands, explores blankets, our bodies, our hair, crawls all over Jeff, is just very adventurous, loves to try new things, and she was not like that before she could fly. Before she could fly, she was, like I said, confidence and wanting to try anything was real hard for her, so we really had to push and really work with interacting with her, and we had that time with her before we got Mango. But we did have Baby 1 full month before we got Mango, so we did have that time with her, and we ended up going from the cage that she was brought home in to a bigger cage, which really the only time they're in that cage is to sleep at night, or when they go back in the cage to eat their seed, or when they go back in there and just get on their perches and rest. We open the cage in the morning, open it up, they come out the top, we open the front of the door, and they free roam and fly all day long until they go back to the cage at night. They will put themselves back in that cage at night, of course, as the sun starts to go down. They start, you know, they're social. They get in routines just like we are. They are in our routine. Once they go back to the cage, we close the cage, we clean the cage, we clean the living room, we vacuum, we wipe everything down. We go back in there, watch TV a little while, then we end up going to bed. We cover the cage up. So they're pretty much on our schedule. They're very, very smart. Did not think that they could be that smart, but they are really smart. One thing I forgot to mention, it was such a beautiful sight when baby was finally able to fly. We kept talking about that. So we've had baby for 6 months. 6 months. We've had Mango for 5 months. But people were saying that the feathers would come back in a couple of months. No. She has only been flying about 6 weeks. So she would start out leaving the cage, and Mango gave her confidence, and I'm going to let Jeff talk about Mango and the good that he was for her, because they do flock together, they do watch, they do learn by watching other birds and curiosity. So when Mango came into the picture, her confidence went up a little bit more, but now she still couldn't fly. Mango didn't understand why she couldn't fly. He would fly across the room and kind of look at her like, come on, girl, what you doing? And she would try to fly, but we noticed when she would launch off the top of the cage, she would be able to go a little bit further, a little bit further, a little bit further, until she was actually flying from the corner of the living room into the kitchen and landing on the rug. So that was real good for baby. And then the next thing you noticed, she was flying knee high, and then she was flying shoulder height. Now she goes everywhere, does everything he does. She's getting more agile in the air, where she flies and she stops and she drops and she can turn and change position. And for Jeff and I, that is just the most beautiful thing to see. Again, if something was to happen to one of the birds and they couldn't fly, that's a different story. But our experience, in my opinion, with clipping of the wings has not been a good one, and I hope we don't ever experience that again. Like I said, when we got Mango, he had some of his feathers, and he could fly and get around, and he's just all over the place. But I can't talk about Mango because I'm gonna let Jeff talk about Mango. So this is part 1 on getting to know our birds, and that was a little bit about baby. She's got her own little twiddles, her own little language. Y'all hear some of that on the channel as well. But hope you enjoyed this video about our baby cakes, sweet baby cakes. Had her for 6 months. We think they're about a year. She's probably a little less than a year, if not maybe a year old. And he might be a year old and a little bit more, but not far, because like I said, when we first got baby, she had stripes all the way down to her cere. Now she's lost all that. She's a little pastel head, and getting a little moody. But we love her, and just wanted to share that background information. I know when I watch things on YouTube and other channels, I like to know the backstory. So again, this is Rhonda, and I am a bird mama to baby cakes. And stay tuned for part 2 of this series on our sweet, sweet Mango Man. Happy New Year's, and I hope you have a blessed and prosperous 2025.